These prawn dumplings are delicious, and as you can see, have very few ingredients and are really fast to make. So we start with 250 grams of raw prawns, which we pop into a blender, and we're simply going to blend those until they are a puree. We're now going to take these pureed prawns and pop them into a bowl. So we shall add these pureed prawns into a bowl, and you can see they are properly pureed, which is exactly how we want them, because we've got another ingredient to give us a nice firm bite. Just make sure you get all of those out of the bottom, because we want to make sure we don't miss anything. And into that, we are going to add 50 grams of very, very finely sliced bamboo shoots. One teaspoonful of castor sugar. And half a teaspoon of ground white pepper. And then with that, we are going to add 1 tablespoon full of sherry. I have just about a tablespoon left. 1 tablespoonful of sesame oil. And finally, we will give that a grind of salt, about half a teaspoon, and just mix all of this together before we start to fill those lovely dumpling wrappers. So now those prawns are nicely pureed and mixed with all the other ingredients, we have the perfect filling for our prawn dumplings. So a couple of things to have at hand: have some kitchen paper and a little tiny bowl of water. You're going to need those for filling the wrappers, and also maybe a tea towel to wipe your hands on. These wrappers are available in any Asian supermarket. They come frozen, but I've defrosted them for half an hour. And as you can see, it's the round ones which we are using for these prawn dumplings. So we just want to take about a teaspoonful of that mixture and pop that in the middle and just scrape it off with a knife. We could put a little bit more than that in. And then with your finger, just gently moisten around the edge of that wrapper, like so, because that'll obviously help it stick. And then you want to, this is why I said you need a towel or kitchen roll handy. Then you just want to make sure that that folds without any getting into the edge of the wrapper, or it will come apart as it's being steamed. So see, just crimp it down like that and you get that nice pattern that you often see on the edge. And then what we want to do is start putting those in. I have my steamer here, and I have already pre-oiled and pre-lined the steamer. So just want to start placing those into your steamer. And I'll show you one more, and then we'll go at a higher speed just to basically speed things up. So again, teaspoonful of the mixture, which we want to put right in the middle of that. And a tiny little smidgen more. And then just crimp. Now you only need to wet half of it, because obviously the other half will stick to that. And then we want to just crimp this around. This is why you need kitchen paper, because between each one, I should have wiped that after the last one, otherwise they'll start to stick, but we'll still do this one because that looks absolutely fine. Just get this out of the way. We don't want that in the edge, and we shall pop that into the steamer also. So as I said, just make sure you wipe this down after you do every one, otherwise they'll start to stick to the board. And that was a lesson that I should have learnt on the last one. And you keep repeating that until you've got a steamer full of these absolutely gorgeous prawn dumplings. And you know, the smell of sherry, it's so aromatic. I really want to have a glass now, which I can't because, as you might have seen when I was filling when I was mixing this up, it was actually the last drop that I had in that bottle. Because I'm not sure when you're watching this, but I have filmed it not too long after Christmas, which is why the sherry has been almost used up. So just crimp that down along the edges, and I'll keep going doing these until I fill both of the levels of this. As you can see on each layer, I've put 4 of these. Dumplings. At a squeeze, I probably could fit 5, but I've learned from past mistakes never to put too many on because they'll just end up a gloopy mess sticking together. So 4 on each layer, and before these start to dry out, I'm very quickly going to get these onto the wok, which is going to have boiling water, steam these up for 6 minutes. As you can see, I have popped my wok onto this hot plate and boiled the water in it. Now I should say actually before I pop this on that I love this bamboo steamer, and although I'm using that, you don't have to use one of these. You can use any kind of steamer. Just make sure that the dumplings don't stick to the bottom. So either oil the bottom of it or put greaseproof paper, or even a cabbage or lettuce leaf on the bottom of it. So you want to put this in. There's a rim on these bamboo ones. There's a bit of a lip underneath it that you can probably see. You want to put this in just so that the water comes up to the lip of that, but not too far up because you don't want it to hit the bottom of the dumplings. So I am going to pop that in there, let that steam for 6 minutes, and we'll come back to some gorgeous prawn dumplings. Now those have cooked for 6 minutes, and look at that. They've gone gorgeous and translucent, and you can see that the prawn in the middle is nice and pink and freshly cooked. So I'm just going to quickly pop those off that ring and serve them up. Now, depending on what way you want to serve these, if you're going to serve them up with a spatula of some sort, one of these flippers, I would advise you spray it with oil first, just to make sure it doesn't stick to the dumpling when you're putting it onto the plates. However, I actually like to just serve them up in these in the middle of the table and use the chopsticks and just eat them directly from the steamer. In terms of your dipping, some soy sauce, or even nicer, some of this dumpling vinegar, or indeed just a mix of both of those. Would you believe it? Prawn dumplings, gorgeous, tasty, and quick.